Hey guys, I told you I was going to be back. 10 minutes went by fast. We are back on live with What's Next with Ronika, episode 2. And if you're just joining us and don't know what Next with Ronika is, it's a new IG Live series that I'm hosting with former student athletes about the transition from being a student athlete into the world of sports and entertainment. All these athletes understand firsthand what that transition period is like, and they're willing to help and give advice to me and to all you viewers watching. So our next guest is my girl A Mass. She already joined in. She is a former University of Tennessee Hooper, Lady Bulls Hooper, and now she's an assistant coach at Lipscomb University. So I'm going to get her in here. And guys, don't forget, while she's coming in, don't forget to continue to ask questions throughout the live. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl, this is cool.
Ask questions in the questions box. I gotta remind people in the questions box. Post. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, I'm good. I'm getting some sun. Hopefully, I don't get any weird tan lines.
I'm a little jealous that you can do yours outside, just to put that out there.
Why can't you?
It's like overcast and rainy outside.
No, it's because you had to show off that background.
No!
You had to show off all those accolades. No, I know you're not slick. You're not slick. So before, when I sent you an invite and I had you write your bio, you put, and I'm gonna say it verbatim so I don't mess up, that you are a child of God that is using the talents and abilities that He has given you to build a kingdom and make an impact on the next generation. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. That's it.
That's it. And so, how are you doing that? How are you completing that goal?
Just every day by the way I live my life and the example I set for my players, and just trying to do that on an everyday basis.
And I want you to tell me a little bit more about that. So what do you do with your players that is a reflection of your talents and abilities that they can learn from?
Well, I think one of the great things about Lipscomb is we are a Christian university. And so the opportunity there to talk about God, to share your journey, to share your testimony is there. And within our team, we do a lot of different things, talking about kind of where we've come from, how He's been in our lives, things He's done for us, things we've overcome. And I think that's the main platform. I can pray with my players if something's going on and they want to talk about it and pray about it. They take Bible classes, so they come in with a lot of new information and share with me, and just being able to have that open line of communication and the platform to share His word.
Was that an important criteria for you when you were choosing where you wanted to go?
It wasn't. I mean, because there's really not that many universities out there,
Yeah.
Christian universities out there, but it definitely was a plus.
Mm-hmm. That's good. It's like a 2-for-1. Yeah.
Exactly. It worked out perfect. Like, I was like, oh, okay, I never even, knew about Lipscomb or knew, that was a Christian university. And so it was definitely an honor. And I was like, this is perfect. Like, I don't think it can get any better than this.
And so for people that are just joining in and haven't peeped her background yet, we're not gonna go over the fact that Ariel was the #1 point guard in her class. She started at Tennessee. She was actually told before, right, that you were going to be a starter before you even arrived, that you were going to be a starter. You were drafted to Atlanta. You played overseas. You completed the goal of an athlete. You made it to each level: high school, top; college, top; pro, top. And so, first of all, what was that experience like, being so young and already having all these expectations coming for you?
Honestly, I think when I was going through it, I mean, we were playing the game that we love. And so that's just something I love to do. So I really didn't pay any attention to it. And honestly, it hasn't been until recently where I can really sit back. And I think being a coach, like I go out and I recruit and I see so many players and so many girls. And I'm like, wow, when I think about like Ariel, you were like the #1 point guard. Like you were the best out of all of these players. And so I think now I'm finally able to put it in a perspective of how huge that was and my career was. But going through the process, I just enjoyed every minute of it. Like, it was amazing.
Do you have any regrets through that through the decision making, or any advice you can give for people that are in high school, if we have any high school viewers, about what it's like getting recruited and how to make that best decision for them?
I think you have to make a list of kind of what's important to you. And I think you have to stick to that and not get caught up in what the coaches are saying or facilities or all the extra stuff that comes with it. Because when you're actually in the grind of being a college athlete, it's extremely hard and it's tough. But one thing I can say is that I enjoyed the people that I were with, the people that I went through the journey with. I'm still extremely close to them today. And I think it made it all better. So I would definitely just say to kids now, just do your research. Make sure you're asking the right questions. Go spend time with the program, with the players, with the coaches. Like, truly get to know them, because it's easy to put on a show for a certain amount of time. But if you kind of do your homework and talk to enough people, I think you can get to the core of what you're possibly getting yourself into.
And when I was doing my research on you, I'm going to keep gassing you up. You've been like a gold medalist with USA Basketball. You've been an SEC champ. You've had all these amazing accolades. And if you guys don't believe me, Google her. It'll probably be like the first name that comes up. And then you decided that it was no longer for you. Are you back? And so what led to that decision? What led to that decision
that playing wasn't for me anymore?
When you decided that you weren't going to be a professional athlete anymore, when you decided your career was over, how did you make that decision, and what was that decision like?
Okay, so after my junior year, I had knee surgery. I had microfracture knee surgery, and rehab, came back from it. Everything was great. Started playing my senior year. Started off playing extremely well. Then my other knee started bothering me, and I was like, okay. Doctors is like, well, we can, have surgery now, clean it out. You'll be okay, or you may have to redshirt, or you can just keep playing on it. And I was kind of so focused on graduating with my class, and I didn't want to stay another year, let's just be honest. And so, so after I played my senior season and ended up having surgery when my senior year was over. So unfortunately, because I did play on my knee, it was way worse than what it probably would have been if I would have surgery earlier. And so the rehab and processing from that, it took me like 8 or 9 months. Like, it was extremely difficult and frustrating. But I made my way back, went to Atlanta Dream training camp, did really well, but they could tell that I was kind of rusty. I hadn't really played basketball in a whole year. So they were like, go overseas, get your game back, get comfortable, and then come back and join us next year. And so I went overseas to Finland, and I'm a homebody. Like, that was
Kareem's in here. Kareem told me you're homesick.
Homesick, that's my nickname. So when I got over there, literally from the day I got there, like, I was ready to come home. And so as the season started, we started practicing. And I don't know if people know, but overseas, they practice twice a day. Americans, they want you to do everything, score all the points, everything's your fault. Like, it's just a lot of responsibility. And my knee just wasn't getting any better. It wasn't feeling any better. And I was like, you know what? I can't keep doing this. Like, my quality of life later on is way more important than this right now. And so when I was overseas, I was like, well, I guess I want to get into coaching now. And I was like, so I guess I'll go and be a graduate assistant, because I think that's kind of one of the easier ways to flow into it. And I just started emailing all of the connections that I had. Kareem actually hooked me up with that, like emailing everyone that I knew in college basketball. I was like, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking, the direction that I'm headed. Please don't forget about me. If you hear anything, let me know. And then kind of from there, I came home and then got an opportunity to go to Ole Miss.
Oh, that's nice. And guys, don't forget, if you have any questions for Ariel, in the question box, you can keep asking her throughout. We got like 10 more solid minutes with her. So you kind of just brushed over, like, I decided I wanted to coach, and then I decided to email a bunch of people. Like, I just decided, what was it that made you want to become a coach? It wasn't, or did you can't just wake up one day and be like, you know what? I'm done playing. I'm a coach. What was it for you?
I would probably say my college experience, and just the coaches that I had and the teammates that I had. I mean, being a point guard, you are kind of that leader, that mother hen, that coach on the floor. And my teammates will always just hype me up and talk about how, Ariel, you're going to be a coach one day. You're going to be doing this and this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm playing forever. Y'all think we're going to play forever. And they were like, no, I think you'll be really good at it. You should definitely look into it, try it, whatever. And I was like, well, I definitely want to stay involved in the game. I've played basketball my whole life. Like, it's definitely a part of me. And so I was like, well, why not? And I think being a graduate assistant was the best way to do that, because I was able to see the day-to-day operations that go behind being a coach, and I gained a lot of experience from it. And after my 2 years, I was like, okay, well, maybe this is something I can do.
Yeah, that's really good. And you talked about the connections, you emailing all those connections. I know the Winning Edge, Kareen, like they're all about making connections and keeping in touch with them and building a community. So I just want to know how did you build that community within so you could reach out? What was it that you did?
I think the main thing was just through the recruiting process. Luckily, I was blessed enough to have the opportunity to talk to a lot of coaches during that process and build relationships. And there are just some really genuine people out there that whether you choose their school or not, they are still willing to look out for you and to help you in any way possible. And so I think, just taking advantage of that.
For people that do want to get into coaching, what would you say what they can do now, student athletes that want to get into coaching, top 3 things that they can do right now to better prepare themselves for that field of work?
Ooh, I would say 1, get in with your assistant coaches and ask them to show you how they go about making a scout and breaking down film. I think that's the main thing. Talking to people and kind of just being around your coaching staff and kind of seeing what the day-to-day operations look like. And then, of course, just being a sponge of the game. So, like, right now we're in this quarantine period, and there are so many coaches clinics that are free online, and so many people putting content out about, skill development or recruiting, all types of different areas of the game. And I think that's just a way for you to, hone your skills during this time. So take advantage of it.
And we're getting, guys, remember you can ask questions in the question box, but I see y'all still in the chat, and we can go and ask those. I mean, someone asked a really important question. They asked who did your hair.
Oh, my mom did my hair. Shout out to mama.
And, I love that my mom could do hair. Like, if she couldn't, we'd looking raggedy right now. Right? But
braids are cute. They're cute, girl.
Thank you.
I can't go get my braids done right now. Like, I'm locked up. So
yeah, quarantine. But this next question from Paula Henson, she asked, you can understand the fundamentals of basketball at an early age. Who was your main mentor that worked with you?
Ooh. Hey, Miss Paula, girl. I want to say my dad. So kind of a quick story, like, my older brother, we're 10 years apart, and he played basketball, and my dad was one of his coaches. And so on Saturdays when my mom would have to go to work, I would just be at the gym, just running around, dribbling, playing. And that's kind of where I was introduced to the game and where I began to fall in love with it. And it kind of just took off from there. And whenever I wanted to go to the gym or go outside and shoot, my dad was literally always there. He coached me through my early, elementary years, kind of got me all the fundamentals and put me in camps and put me in situations to learn and to grow and become a better basketball player. And then from that, I just took off with it.
Yeah. I bet your dad's super proud of you now. Here's a good one. What are the identifiers you look for in a recruit?
Ooh. Well, I think this goes unspoken, but the main thing is talent. Whether or not somebody can play or not. And then I go and kind of look at their toughness. I do a lot of background research of calling coaches, all their coaches, friends, whoever I kind of get in contact to figure out what kind of person they are. Within our program, character is key. And I don't care how good you are, but if you got a terrible attitude and you're a bad teammate, then I don't want you a part of what we're trying to do. And so I think that's the main thing. And if those qualities all check off, then I'm like, hey, let's go for it. So those probably be the main things.
Here we go. We have, forgive me if I say your name wrong, Arob. McCord asks, what's the hardest part about coaching and what's your favorite part about coaching?
Ooh, I think my favorite part about coaching is just being able to impact lives. Like, I've had a lot of experience, and I believe that my playing career was cut short because of injuries, and I feel like I have so much more to give to the game. So just being able to share my experiences and my love with those around me. And the hardest part, I haven't found the hardest part. I will tell people, if you're thinking about getting into coaching, it is a grind. Like, you're going to work hard. It calls for early mornings and late nights sometimes, but one thing I love about my job is I love what I do, and so when I wake up every morning, it doesn't feel like work. Like, I'm just going to play basketball and find some players and meet new people, and I don't think it gets any better than that.
Do you still play with the players sometimes? Show Show how you do it. Show how the number one recruit in the nation does it.
I do sometimes. Like I said, my knees are bad. I'm like bone on bone, so I'm really, really rusty. But my jumper though, oh, it's still wet. Like,
yeah, you ain't gonna lose that shot.
Exactly.
Forecast. It's raining. Kareem said, "Don't lie. Being away from home, it's homesick."
No, but I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, so that's like my second home. It's like if I can't be in Chicago, then that's the second best place.
Okay, that's fair. And let's see. Here we go. It's a great question from the GOAT herself. What advantages did you have as a student athlete that benefited your journey?
Ooh, I would say the main thing is like being a Lady Vol, and it's essentially a sorority in itself. And there are so many of my sisters that are connected in so many different areas of sport and other industries within the world. And so having them to call on, to lean on if I need something, or to be a voice of reason, or for advice or a recommendation, I think that's probably the biggest benefit of being a student athlete, for me at least.
I agree. It's just like you come into a college, you come into whatever school you might be at, you're a Lady Volt. That's a legacy of great people. I'm an Oregon Duck. We got some ghosts ourselves over here. Okay, so but no matter. You know what? I would have my trophies back here, but I'm outside.
You need to get because you got a lot. Let's ask me over. Don't get me started on
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Google her.
But no matter where you are, you can always make connections, and it's about your community. And I think people think that their community might be too small and they always have to branch out, but exactly where you are is perfect for you at that moment. So taking advantage of that. So I agree with everything that you just said. And on this one, I mean, I think we know the answer to this, but do you ever miss playing?
So yes, I do miss playing. Now, do I miss the grind of being a student athlete and that goes with it, like the weightlifting, the waking up early? I don't miss all that. And honestly, more than playing, I think I just miss the camaraderie of being with my teammates in the dorms or in the locker room. Just making those memories with them. I think that's what I miss more than anything. And
you mentioned the injuries like cut your career short, and there's a lot of, luckily I'm not even going to say luckily for me about any injury. I don't even know why I started a sentence like that. But there are so many student athletes out there that have dealt with injuries and like are continuing to try to overcome them. So what would your best advice be for people that are currently dealing with injuries and want to continue playing?
I think go for it. As long as your body allows you, play as long as you can, because when it's over, it's over. And you can't ever go back to it. For me personally, it came down to a quality of life thing. And they were like, well, if you keep playing, you're going to need a knee replacement by the age of 30. And it got pretty severe. And I was like, well, I definitely don't want to do that. So I think if you have that window and you have the opportunity, just take care of your body as best as possible, eating right, mentally being sharp, yoga, getting your rest. I think doing everything that you can in your power to allow you to be able to play for as long as possible.
Agreed. Again, mentioning the WE leadership, the connections, getting involved with the community around you, I guess, what is the best thing for you about the Winning Edge, the WE leadership, Kareen, everyone involved? What for you is your favorite thing about them?
Well, this is actually the first time that Kareen has let me be a part of the WE leadership. I'm like so honored because it's been in effect for a few years now, and I've been trying to get involved, and I always get the boot. But I think, Kareen is great. Like, she has so many connections and knows so many people. And we actually met. She was a graduate assistant my freshman year when I got to Tennessee. And kind of from that point in my life, she's kind of been pouring into me and giving me advice and nuggets along the way of things that I can do, things that she suggests. And honestly, like, look where I am now. So I think the information that she has and she's passing along to you guys and everyone else a part of the WE leadership is valuable information.
Yeah. Well, we are up. If you guys have any more questions for Ariel, I saw some in the comments. I'll put them together. Like I said with Alyssa, we might have you do an IG Live takeover where you're just answering all the questions about your GO status and about where you are now.
Oh my gosh.
So feel free to keep asking questions. We'll send them her way so she can continue to answer them. And thank you so much for being a great guest. I appreciate being able to talk to you, not like phone to phone, but actually phone. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks so much for joining.
Thanks, you too. I'm excited about your listening for the rest of your shows.
Thank you. As you guys can see, I'm glad time's up because I think I'm turning red now. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 2 of What's Next with Ronika. We will be posting them on IGTV, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, so you can watch the full episode. And like I said before, you can continue to ask guests more questions, and we'll send them their way so we can get all of your questions answered. Turn on your push notifications so that you can continue to let me blast you with what's coming up next, and so you won't miss a single thing. Push notifications not only on Instagram, but push notifications on Facebook, on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube and continue keeping up. Thanks guys so much for watching, and I can't wait for the next week.